to me, Lea Salonga winning a Tony Award, B.D. Wong winning a Tony Award, those were sort of people I really looked up to. I had Billy Porter as a teacher in college. He came and guest taught at Carnegie Mellon and directed me in a show. And Billy Porter, somebody I continue to look up to because he's authentically himself. And that authenticity, it's not because he's decked to the nines on the red carpet, and it's not because he is an amazing singer, he's an amazing actor, but what people are drawn to, what makes him a star, is that there is nobody like him, and he knows that, and people know that, and he is not afraid to embrace that part of himself that is unlike anybody else.
Everyone, welcome back to Pride Talk. We feature in-depth conversations with Asian American LGBTQ+ professionals and our allies. Welcome to all our new listeners. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day. And thank you to our NAP family for supporting NAP Pride and this podcast. I'm your host, John Ong, and with me is co-host David Moore. Hi, David.
Hey, John. Hi, everyone. Today, we are closing out our great conversation with Telly Leung. We continue discussing diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in the theater, and the need for more opportunities to bring new voices and original stories to the stage. Telly also gives a shout out to those who inspired him. And as we conclude this season, I wanted to take a moment to thank the leaders of NAP Pride, NAP National, and all the NAP chapters for their continued support. But for now, let's get back to the sensational Telly Leung.
So David, Telly's a Broadway star. Where's the singing?
Patience, John. Patience. You'll want to hang around for the lightning round of questions where Telly shares his favorite song to sing in the shower, his go-to Pride song, and his favorite celebrity crush, as well as his biggest pet peeve.
A whole new world, a new fantastic...
No, John, no. We got to let Telly do that part.
Oh, that's right. He's the singer. That's right.
Yeah, not you.
One question I did have, because we did talk about like the corporate world different than, a little bit different than the entertainment world. In the corporate world, there is a lot of talk about diversity, inclusion, representation, and equity. And I'm just wondering, do you find that also in the theater world, in the Broadway world? I mean, is it, top of mind for people? So in the sense of, is, non-traditional casting or colorblind casting really discussed, or is it just one of these things where, I think we need to do one now? Or do you think it's part of every show now?
I think it is definitely on the top of everyone's brain, and I do think it is discussed. And I do think, for example, I was working on a brand new musical. It's still in developmental phases. It's called Indigo, and it's a story of it's a musical that's about a young girl who is nonverbal autistic. And in this musical, she is able to, when she sings, she's able to express herself in a way that she cannot in real life. So we really see her thoughts. And it's sort of a wonderful way to tell this story about this autistic girl, and that we see what's happening in her mind and in her heart through song, right? That she's completely communicative through music. And then when we jump back into the scenes, she's a nonverbal autistic girl. But I remember working on the show, and ultimately we got to the last reading, and the director said, we should make an effort to find somebody who is on the spectrum to do this role, because there are not many roles that star an autistic character. Why don't we find somebody who is on the spectrum who can actually perform this? And we found this incredible young actress. She's from South Bend, Indiana. Her name is Madison, and she was brilliant. And it took a long time to find this person, but it was the right person, and it was authentic, and it was giving an opportunity to somebody who might not have had that opportunity before. And so I think there is value in that. I think there's value in looking at the landscape and going, okay, what voices have we not heard from yet? What perspective have we not heard yet? What point of view have we not received? In our particular show, it was somebody who was autistic. It's giving voice to somebody who's not had that opportunity before.
Yeah.
I'm really happy we're able to do that.
I remember seeing the revival of Spring Awakening, the one that they did with the
Yes, with Deaf
music.
West.
And I'm like, oh my God, the way that they incorporated the sign language into the choreography
Absolutely.
of the show. It was just so seamless and magical. And I'm like, we need more of that, more representation of people whose voices literally you don't hear,
And that was so successful because we are always, as theater audiences, hungry for something new.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we were like, oh my gosh, we've never seen a story told like this before.
Yeah.
Right. And not only that, but now we have all of these new people. If you would ask some of those actors a year ago, did you think you were going to be in a Broadway show? I bet you most of them would go like, a Broadway show for me. I'm a deaf actor. No way. Well, here they are, like on Broadway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's a win-win when we do that. Right. It's a win-win when we do that in the theater community. And I think it's a win-win when it happens in the corporate world too. When you have somebody on your team that you go, hey, we should find that person that gives us a brand new perspective on this particular project, because, that tells us something fresh and new and makes us see it in a completely different way.
Yeah. And that takes, strong leadership to do that. The director, the producer, all those people that put money up and had to take the risk on doing that. That says a lot about them as leaders, that they saw the potential in this and wanting to give this particular production that voice. And I just thought it was amazing.
I love that production. And that's Michael Arden too, who's a brilliant director. So
this idea of representation, and telling all voices, I think is something that's really important in not just in the corporate world and not just in the entertainment world, but everywhere.
Everywhere.
I think it's just, with entertainment, there's that added responsibility because so many people see it. When it happens in the corporate world, it's usually just what the people within that company see it, but when it happens on the stage, especially on the screen, like with Glee, you being a part of Glee. But to me, that show was like something I'd never seen before because there was so much diversity and inclusion in that, in just those few years that show was on, that no other show did that,
Well, they made it a point, right? They really made it it wasn't by accident, And I think, and I do think that, with diversity and inclusion, it's going to take some effort. It takes effort in order for us to really achieve that. It takes a little extra work, but it's worth it.
Yes.
It's the product that comes out of it when we do it in the theater world is usually brilliant theater and probably hearing a story we've never heard. And I have yet to hear that it's not good for the corporate world either. That having somebody in that office that is giving everybody a new point of view is so valuable.
Seeing it on screen or on TV or on stage, I think leads to people in the corporate world having that experience of empathy, because we now have connected with, the characters from Glee or the characters from Rent, that because we've seen them now, when somebody like that is in our world at work, we have a little bit more empathy, for them. So I think that's the role that, that the entertainment world plays to help us is, it tells those stories that other people may not have experienced.
More Asian characters.
Yes.
Just more Asians, period. More Asians, period.
Women too.
Oh, yeah.
Gay women,
I noticed, I see your posters on the wall too, but also in doing a little research about you, you were, if I'm not mistaken, in Flower Drum Song, Miss Saigon, Pacific Overtures, and
I never did Saigon. I never
did not do Saigon.
Oh, I never did it on Broadway. I did.
No, but you did perform it. Yeah,
I did do it regionally. I did.
Yeah, you were in it.
I did it. In, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
So all those shows, do you feel some sort of responsibility to represent our community or to do shows that represent our community? And is there some difference in, most of these were like revivals, but Allegiance was kind of, you originated that role. So maybe if you could speak a little bit to that too, but also this idea of representing.
I feel like anytime, the opportunities for Asian actors are few and far between on Broadway. So anytime we step on that stage, I think we all feel a responsibility to not just represent ourselves, but our community, right? Definitely when it came time to do Allegiance, we felt this responsibility of going, okay, like this is a brand new original musical. We are lucky enough to be here, to have raised the money and gotten all the, developed the show and taken it out of town and now that we have a Broadway house, it is not lost on us how lucky we were to have that opportunity to tell that story. It is also not lost on us how difficult that story would be to tell, because it's not a story that a lot of Americans necessarily want to remember or want to hear, but in my opinion, need to hear, because it's a lesson in what we've done in the past that could help us in our future, as you know. And so I feel a great deal of responsibility, and I think I can speak for the Asian Broadway community. We all feel that when we're up on stage to represent the characters that we perform with dignity and with humanity. And so there's a great deal of weight, I know, that we place on ourselves, and pressure that we place on ourselves, for sure, and responsibility.
Yeah, and we appreciate it, that our stories
thank
are
you.
that we see ourselves up there, that our stories are being told. That does mean a lot to us in the audience.
Oh, thank you.
And then also to go somewhere different, to play Angel in the final, company of Rent. To me,
Yeah,
Angel is like the heart and soul of that
so
story.
I actually, in the final company of Rent, I played Angel at the Hollywood Bowl, but I understudied Angel in the final company on Broadway. But I got to play it a lot, which was really fun. And to me, Angel really is the heart. He's the glue that kept that family together. And when Angel does leave the play, that family has to figure out how to live without that glue, and how to love each other without the person that was just exuding love the whole time. And it's gosh, that's such a dream role for me. I mean, Rent was one of those shows at 16 years old that made me want to do theater. So for me to get to be in that show in any capacity, whether it was in my ensemble track and understudying Angel or playing Angel, that was a gift. I always say, if Rent was still running today, I'd still be in it. You'd have to kick me out.
Well, when it comes back, you'll have to be in it, so
Oh
we can
gosh,
see it.
I'll be too old to do it. That'll have to be the next Telly Leung. Graduates college and gets to do Rent.
Who are the role model? I mean, George Takei, obviously. You can talk a little bit more about him. Like,
Yeah.
how was he your role model, and who are the people?
I think George, for sure, was somebody who was, gosh, with Star Trek was so iconic, and it's almost American, like, folklore. It's almost like, in a way. Do you mean, like, it became such an iconic character? All those characters are iconic, and he was such a big part of that. To me, Lea Salonga winning a Tony Award, B.D. Wong winning a Tony Award, those were sort of people I really looked up to. I had Billy Porter as a teacher in college. He came and guest taught at Carnegie Mellon and directed me in a show. And Billy Porter is somebody I continue to look up to, because he's authentically himself, and that authenticity, it's not because he's decked to the nines on the red carpet, and it's not because he is an amazing singer, he's an amazing actor, but what people are drawn to, what makes him a star, is that there is nobody like him, and he knows that, and people know that, and he is not afraid to embrace that part of himself that is unlike anybody else. And I think so I really admire him for that, for carving a career for himself that is so authentic, and so him. Those are really the people I looked up to coming up, in this business, that I consider sort of role models. And also, I had amazing teachers. I had amazing acting teachers who saw potential in me and music teachers that they saw it in me before I could see it in myself. And now I do a lot of teaching myself now, and I hope that I can do that for the next generation of actors and performers and artists.
David, want to go to lightning round already?
Sure. Yeah, let's start.
Fun.
So this is fast, quick, fun. Okay. What does pride mean to you?
Pride means loving yourself enough to inspire others to love themselves.
Oh, that's good. So then what's your go-to pride song?
I Am What I Am. That's my...
Oh my God. Yes.
That's a Jerry Herman.
Yes. It's one of my favorites. And you do such a great version of it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Okay. So what's your go-to shower song?
Oh, it's usually a Whitney song.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody.
Oh, yes. Perfect. And who was your first celebrity crush?
Okay, this is going to sound crazy. Julie Andrews.
Oh my God.
I think
She
it
would be
was.
mine too.
I really think it was Maria von Trapp. Like I think it was Sound of Music, Julie Andrews. I think she was
Yeah.
the
Who
best.
cannot love that?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
totally. I mean, come on, like it's so ingrained in my childhood.
Okay, go on, David.
Okay. Perfect. Having your mom been in the fashion world. If you were a t-shirt, who would you want to be wearing you?
Oh, Marky Mark. Let's just say that.
Yes. Don't we all want that?
That's right. Marky Mark from the 90s.
Perfect. Okay. What's your favorite color of socks?
Let me guess.
Oh.
I saw that on your feed recently.
Oh,
Is it red?
I do love those red socks. I like those red socks.
Oh, sorry, it's not my. It's not. I shouldn't be answering. Sorry.
No, but you're right. I do love a bright colored sock.
Okay. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Slow walkers in New York City. People that don't know how to walk in
Yes.
New York.
Yes.
There's a speed lane, and then there's like there's like a lane for like people that are tourists
Yes.
or on their phones. You can't be in the fast lane. You gotta get to the side. You gotta stop.
Yes. I think I've evolved. My first trip, I was in the tourist lane, and now
Yeah.
when I go back, I'm like, I'm moving. I'm
Yeah.
like, get out of my way. I got somewhere to go.
New Yorker walking speed is my normal walking speed, so
That's
I
right.
absolutely love the speed.
Okay. What one trait do you have that annoys your husband?
Oh, this has come up recently because we're both working from home. That I feel when I'm talking on Zoom or on Google Chat, I feel like I have to like yell. So you know what I mean? Like I don't understand. Like I use my full
Project. You
stage voice.
project.
Yes, I use my full stage voice, and my husband hates it.
When my mom does that, I always remind her, "Mom, you're talking to me in the U.S., but you don't have to yell as if I'm in the U.S."
Yes, I know. Yep, I do. My mom does that. I am my mother's son for sure.
And John, you're lucky you have a basement to go to.
I know, but it does not help. Like my voice goes through. It it goes through. It travels. My cackle like travels through my neighbor's house.
Funny.
Okay, Telly. What would be your Broadway dream role? What role have you always wanted to play?
Oh gosh, I've always wanted to play the Phantom of the Opera at some point.
Oh
I
my
would love
God,
to
you'd
do
be.
it one day. I just feel like it's one of those iconic roles.
Yeah.
One day.
Okay. Now a serious one. What does living an authentic life mean to you?
Not living by somebody else's expectations of you.
We've all
And creating your own. And creating your own expectations for yourself. You know.
Yeah.
So instead of saying it in the negative, I guess it would be living an authentic life is to live by your own expectations for yourself and not anyone else's.
Sometimes that's hard, like sometimes we
Very
think it's
hard.
ours because we've been, taught that for so long
Yes.
that you have
Yeah.
to rediscover it.
Not just the traditional Chinese part or the traditionally Asian part, but also our societal expectations on us. You're 40, you should have done this already. Like you're X amount of years old, you should be married with kids. You're X amount of years old, you should have this much of money in the bank. Like, it's that isn't authentic. That's not who you are. That's.
What advice would you give to yourself before you came out?
The advice I would give to myself is that I would tell my younger self that there's going to be a tribe of people there to accept you. So even though you are going to feel like the world is going to shun you for it, it's actually the opposite. You're actually going to find brotherhood and sisterhood from it, and chosen family from it.
That's good. And that really led into the next questions for somebody who's thinking about coming out. Is there any additional tip and advice?
Yeah, I really do. I really do think that for somebody that's coming out and scared about it, that there is a community of people that is there to embrace you. And I'm not gonna lie, there's gonna be a community of people that are going to also hate you for it. And my advice to that person is you're not gonna change their mind, and that life is short, and that you can't waste energy trying to change somebody else's mind or trying to make that person love you. You spend your time and your energy on those people that deserve it. And that is that community and that tribe of people that's going to embrace you for who you are.
What would you say to parents who found out that their child or their children are LGBTQ plus?
I would urge parents to remember it's not their fault. You know, it's not something they did wrong. It's not something they could have done differently. It is just that once you've given birth to this person, as much as you know what's best for that person still has to decide it for him or herself or themselves. I think that's hard for parents. I think that's hard for parents to let go of what, you know, what they think is, and of course it is. I mean, you know, it's when you're a baby, they're the ones that keep you fed and breathing and alive, and you know. So, but at some point, you know, they are their own humans with their own sense of free will and their own hearts and minds.
Okay, so getting to Aladdin, is there any way we can get you to sing just a little bit?
Oh my gosh, of what? Of Aladdin?
Yes.
Oh,
we
gosh.
all want to hear that.
A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.
Awesome.
Actually,
Yes.
if you go on my Instagram, so because we've all been social distancing, Trevor Noah actually just did, he was singing A Whole New World on his balcony, hoping that, you know, like in Italy, people would just start singing on their balconies, but nobody sang back to him in New York City. So my Aladdin castmates and I we were like, you know what, Trevor, we got your back. We're gonna finish the song for you. So there's this Instagram video that we all did where we finished the song for him from our respective balconies.
Oh, so sweet. Okay, I think that's it with my Broadway questions.
Oh, yay.
Oh no,
What's next?
What's next? Yeah, what's next for you?
Oh gosh, you know what? I have to be honest. Who knows what's next? Not just for me, but for all my fellow artists, for all the performing arts centers in this country, for all the people that depend on the entertainment industry for a living, right? So in New York City, that's the restaurants, that's the cabs, that's the hotels, the airlines. You know, theater in every city, entertainment in every city is a huge tourist attraction. And with what's happening with COVID, it's who knows? I have no idea what's next. I know tomorrow is next. I know that I have to, you know, I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to get up in the morning. But I have to be really honest. For the first time in my career, and actually for the first time in my life, I have no idea what's next. I have to say, I feel like I'm not alone. Like, I feel like the whole world is sort of going, what's next?
But I think
really,
it's also
really
made some of us realize that you know, some of us are really lucky that we're able to work from home.
Yeah.
That is actually a privilege that we have that others don't have.
Oh,
especially, you know, people like you that have to go gig to gig and depend on people being there and live and with you. You know, and I hope that other people in this country see that too, and especially our government leaders, that we all need help. I mean, because not everybody has that.
Yeah, Liz, I feel very lucky. I mean, my husband is, you know, he's salaried. He works at the Smithsonian. So far, we're okay, right? Like, so far, there's no layoffs. But, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel lucky that we have one income in the house, and I've been good. You know, I'm so Chinese, like I'm a
saving.
Good
That's good. That's good. And that's why you're trained to do this, because a lot of people don't, and it's really really
but just a lot of people can't. Like I'm thinking that waiter with like 2 kids, like how can she? You know what I mean? It's like it's impossible. You know.
Thank you so much for your
thank
time.
you, Jonathan. It's so fun to see you guys and talk to you again. This is so great. I've missed you guys.
Oh yeah, we're so excited that you're back and you're sharing your stories, and it's gonna be awesome.
Thanks for having me on the show. This is so great, and I hope, you know, I know we're going through this crazy time with COVID-19. I hope everything with NAP still keeps going, even though, you know, even though we're going through this crazy time. And if it's not right now, that hopefully we come back stronger than ever, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys soon and not 6 feet apart from you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I'm looking forward to when we go see you in New York.
Yes.
After a show.
Please. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much again for doing this.
Thank you, Telly.
Take care, you guys.
Thank you, Telly.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, what a special treat that was. Thank you so much, Telly, for talking to us sharing your experiences, and representing the Gaysian community. I hope our listeners got as much as we did from that very in-depth conversation.
Thank you so much, Telly. And please share your comments about our latest conversation with Telly. Just email us at pridetalk@nap.org or call us and leave a voice comment. Our number is 4197-PRIDE5. And of course, you can find all this information on the show notes and our website, pride.nap.org.
And just a quick shout out to NAP, the National Association of Asian American Professionals, which is a nonprofit organization that cultivates and empowers Asian and Pacific Islander leaders through leadership development, professional networking, and community service. Be sure to check them out at nap.org.
And that's a wrap for Pride Talk Season 3. Yay!
Yay!
And be sure to subscribe to Pride Talk Podcast to be notified when Season 4 is released. Until then, remember this: representation matters. So be seen, be heard, be loud, and be proud. Yeah!
Yes.
See y'all!
The opinions expressed on Pride Talk are solely those of the host and guests and do not represent the views or opinions of our individual employers, NAP, or our sponsors.